All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into Christmas stuff. We get into travel stuff. We get into some Christmas movie stuff. We talk about the stupid Yankees. I think that's all we got as far as junction and current events. If I remember anything on the way, I'll let you know. Otherwise, we got another good Cage fact, and it's all coming up right now. All right, jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. Show about nothing that finds the lessons and everything, and we have a good time doing it. Merry Christmas, everybody. For all those of you out there who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. I don't remember if Hanukkah is still going on right now or not, but Happy Hanukkah if you celebrate that. We are in what I would consider to be the final good holiday of the Holy Holiday Triumvirate. Now, a lot of people have New Year's, and I got a lot of problems with New Year's, as you know. And I'll probably repeat those problems, next week on the next episode or whatever, like I usually do. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Christmas is not the penultimate, that's Thanksgiving. The pre-ultimate is the ultimate holiday, the end of the triumvirate, the big finale. I'm trying to think of some other phrases to use, big phrases to use to describe Christmas, but you get the idea. Okay, we're in Christmas. By the time you listen to this, we're past Christmas, possibly. And everybody got their presents or their coal or their what have yous, and they're cleaning up the mess. And they're getting ready to start their gym memberships in the new year. That's going to last 2 weeks. And they're, riding the high, eating the leftovers, whatever you got going on. The kids are sleeping on piles of wrapping paper and good memories and good cheer. And Hallmark is probably still playing Christmas movies, I would imagine. If I remember correctly, they play it through New Year's, maybe even after. I don't know. I'll check it out because I'll be watching it. But Christmas time, I'm recording this obviously before Christmas because these episodes post on Sundays, and Sunday is not Christmas yet. So this is pre-Christmas. I don't know what I got yet. I don't know what Santa Claus, the big man upstairs, got me yet. I didn't ask for anything. I really don't want anything. I would take money. Money would be cool, so I can buy stuff I need for the LPDS ranch and the compound down in Texas. But I hope I didn't. I hope my family didn't waste money on material things for me. I just want everybody to hang out and have a good time together. Save that money to go do stuff. My sister's got stuff she's got to get ready for they're fixing up their house, they're doing this and doing that. So I hope, I want to do that. Nikki Sticks is trying to make moves with his life. So I don't want anything from him. I got some stuff from my parents. I'm not going to reveal it now because they're upstairs. They could hear. They probably can't hear because they're old. My dad's got hearing aids, so he can't hear when I'm in the room. But I got my father 2 months of his gym membership that we just started. I'm paying for the next 2 months for him so that he doesn't have to pay and he can keep going to the gym and have no excuse to keep exercising and getting better moving forward in life. And probably people think that's a stupid gift. It's one of those like, oh, don't push your ways on other people. But he signed up for the gym himself. He's the one who brought me to the gym. Okay, so, and he's trying to get better. He wants to get better. It's tough for him, tough for all of us, but he's working through it. So I figure the least I can do is get him in there for free so he doesn't have to worry about that whole situation. And then from my mother, don't tell anybody, I was debating her between two things. One, her dryer sucks. It sucks. I don't know what it is. It's not even an old dryer. It's maybe 5 years old, 3 to 5 years old, and it's a Maytag. And they're usually pretty top tier. But for whatever reason, this one does not dry close. You turn it on, first of all, the dials don't work. They don't line up to what you're actually wanting to dry. So when you put it on towels, it shows you the settings for whites or something like that, or delicates or whatever. So you got to play the guessing game on what you're drying. And then we don't know if the sensor inside the dryer is busted or the heating element is busted. I think it might be the sensor because it's a crapshoot on whether or not the thing actually heats up and dries the clothes. We'll put it on for an hour and a half and it'll come out barely lukewarm, like hot breath. Sometimes we'll put it on and it'll be piping hot and clean. Dry, not clean, dry. It's clean before when we washed it. So we don't know what it is. Most of the time, it takes at least 2 rounds to get one load of laundry dry. So I wanted to, long story longer, I wanted to get a new dryer, but they're expensive. Okay. And I wanted to be able to get gifts for both my parents, so I opted out of that. So what I think we're gonna do is I think there's a way that we can finagle the Maytag folks into coming by and checking it out to see if they can repair something under the warranty that it's still under. So we're gonna try to work our magic. Maybe I'll get Sausage and Peppers S&P 1 on the case as my attorney to see if there's any sort of legal loopholes to get him to come out, to get these guys to come out here without, charging us an arm and a leg. Because it is technically under warranty still, but I don't know what that covers. Anyway, so we might do that. But the other thing she wants to have a step counter. She wants to count her steps, just like I like to get my steps in all the time too. So does Creature, so does Sticks. Everybody is working on steps. I think Bone Crusher does steps sometimes too. I don't know. But she wanted to track her steps. She bought this knockoff stepwatch, like a phony version of a Fitbit. It was like $19 on the internets. I don't remember what it was called, the Fatbit, because this thing stinks. There's only one button on the watch. So to update the time and also then change the display to show steps and then to check the other settings and stuff, it's the same button. You have to know the button code, like the little Morse code to click ... dash dash ... whatever, to figure out what display you want on the particular watch face. And the instructions are only in a different language, only in some Asian language. I would have to imagine Mandarin, and we can't read them. So we don't know. We're just guessing. And the battery life stinks. The charger stinks. It's not a good watch whatsoever. Luckily, she only paid $19 for it. So I just got her a watch. I got her a nice GPS watch. It's got the whole whatever she wants on there. I'm going to set it up. It's very easy to use. It's the same brand as the ones Sticks and I have. Pretty top tier. It's not the toppest of the tier, but it's a good one that she'll get her steps. It has the time on there. She can do whatever she wants with it. So we're going to get that. We'll set it up for her, and she'll be well on her way. Now, every year, Crazy Carol. Do I want to talk about this right now? No, we'll talk about it in the junction. We'll get into the junction. I want to talk about the good stuff in the junction. I want to get the bad stuff out of the way right now here in the sort of LPDS universe current events. So first things first, I'll get this out of the way real quick. The Yankees stink. Okay. And if you don't know why I'm saying that this week, it's because the Japanese pitcher, whatever his first name is, Yamamoto, signed with the Dodgers for 12 years, $325 million, and denied the Yankees their offer, which I think was $300 million, something like that. Now, on one hand, give the benefit of the doubt, $325 million to a person who has not pitched one pitch in the MLB yet. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and it's a big gamble financially. I'll say that. Otherwise, that's the only justification you could give to the Yankees for not offering up the money and working on a similar deal that Ohtani got, where you defer a bunch of monies and this and that and make it work for him. So he went to the Dodgers. The Dodgers are buying all these good players now. They got the Japanese market practically cornered. Every Japanese human being is going to be a Dodgers fan now. Good on them. So they're going to make their money back pretty quickly. Excuse me. The Yankees have no pitching. They got, I'll say, of the four pitchers that they have currently on the team, the four starting pitchers, you can call that two and a half to three pitchers. You got Garrett Cole, you got nasty Nestor Cortez, and then you have Carlos Rodon, who is chronically injured, and then you have Clark Schmidt, who stinks. It took him all season to pitch more than 4 innings in a game. His first more than 4 inning game came in September as a starting pitcher. September, the last month of the season, that's when he first was able to pitch more than 4 innings. That stinks. Okay, that's weak. That's beta bitch boy shit. Okay, he's not good. Carlos Rodon had a 27 ERA in the 6 games that he pitched. And that guy can't go past the 4th or 5th inning because he pitches 120 pitches in those 4 innings. The guy's a human rain delay. He stinks. And they paid him $100 plus whatever million to come and stink it up in the dugout for him. So they need pitching. Now, what really angers me, and I'm trying to keep a objective mindset. I had a vent to my pal, the Creature, about this. He's the baseball guy I go to normally. And he had to talk me off the conspiracy theory ledge. But here is something I can't get out of my stupid brain. I can't. It's in there, and now I'm going to think about it. I'm going to tinfoil hat it to death. Yamamoto's agent, the Sean Stellato of Yamamoto. If you don't know Sean Stellato, he's the greasy Ginzo, greaseball, Guinea, Dago agent for Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets over on the New York Giants that we talk about. Yamamoto's agent is also Giancarlo Stanton's agent. Now, follow me here, fellas. If you remember several weeks back, well, I don't know when you're listening to this, but during the winter meetings, when the Yankees were working on the Juan Soto deal, Brian Cashman went on that whole rampage, a verbal rampage, if you will, on how he thinks the team is pretty fucking good. Sorry, T Family Show, and that he loves this coaching staff. They think the players are good. They think the analytics guys are good. He doesn't know why, but it's not his fault why they stink. Everybody is fine, but they still stink, and there's no reason why. They just stink. He doesn't, he didn't give an actual reason. He didn't take any accountability. But then he goes on to shit talk Giancarlo Stanton, talking about how, with guys like Giancarlo Stanton, he's going to get injured. So you have to work around that. You have to understand that that's part of the season, is that he's going to go down. And so we had to find ways to fill that gap because he's a gap. And you don't shit talk your player like that as a GM. You don't do that. And if that's the case, why haven't you done something about it earlier? Why did you get Giancarlo Stanton in the first place if you quote unquote knew that he was going to be an injury every season? Well, in response to that, Giancarlo Stanton's agent came out and said something to the effect of, let this be a lesson to all players here and international that are on the market for teams. Let this be a lesson to them before they go deciding to put on pinstripes. This is how they treat their players. This is how they talk about their players to the media, to the press. Fast forward a couple weeks later, and who's Yamamoto's agent? The same guy as Giancarlo Stanton. I forgot who it is. I don't think it's Scott Boras, but the same guy. So I have to think a little bit. You have to understand why I think just a little bit that this might have been just a what's the word? Not a boondoggle, but a scam, a little trickery, if you will, by Yamamoto and his agent saying, "Hey, let's let the Yankees think they have a chance, and we'll talk to them, and then we're not going there. We're not going there. We don't want you playing for this jabroni who treats his players like garbage and outwardly shit talks them and never respects their wishes when they ask for privacy, talking about negotiations and contract deals. He's been doing that for years. Okay. And in case you forgot, he did it to Jeter. He did it to, did he do it to A-Rod too? Not that I care as much about A-Rod. Then he did it to Judge again last year, 2 years ago now. So the guy doesn't respect the players that he brings on. He doesn't care about the team. He cares about profits. And it's already starting to take effect. The second and third order effects, the consequences of keeping that guy in the Yankees organization is already coming to fruition because now they're losing out on other big market potential because they don't want to play under that leadership. Not to mention the team stinks. They don't have a history of winning right now. Over the last 20 years, they've won one World Series. They're not a competitive team. They showed Jose Trevino, one of the catchers, was doing some Zoom interview, and he was talking about this is before they lost Yamamoto. This is while they were still actively recruiting, thinking they had a chance. And he's talking about how, like, oh, I watched this guy, his film. I watched him pitch against righties and lefties, and I think he'd make a great addition to the team. And the interviewer was like, well, what would you say to him to get him to come to the Yankees? And he's like, oh, well, I'd remind him that, even though the pinstripes, they may be heavy, the ticker tape parade is worth it. What a ticker tape parade are you talking about, Trevino? Tell me, because you've never been to one. Maybe as a fan back when you were a kid, I don't know, but you certainly haven't won a World Series ring since you've been on the Yankees. They haven't won since 2009. I talked again to the creature, and he brought up a great point. There are people 20, 22, 23 years old that are Yankee fans that have only seen one World Series from them. So when people talk about, oh, the Yankees they're the team, they're always winning there, it's World Series a bust, they have no idea what those people are talking about. The Yankees are just a garbage team who snuck by and won a World Series and bought a World Series 1 year in the past 20 plus years. And they have the audacity to keep this Cashman fella around who treats the players like shit, outwardly disrespects them, and then they wonder why they can't sign the big names anymore. Not to mention the fact that Cashman doesn't even try to sign big names anymore for the most part, with the exception of a couple obvious choices, like Judge wasn't going to stay with the Yankees. That's another thing that has historically, when the Yankees have a good player already and they're in the contract year, almost 100% of the time that player stays with the Yankees. So that was an easy. They were not going to lose out on that. That's an easy one. And they traded 7 guys for Juan Soto. So bottom line is they stink. They missed out on this prospect because they stink and because their leadership stinks. And they all need to hire spearhead leadership because they need to get their heads out of their asses because they stink. And it's an absolute leadership issue, 100%. All right, moving on. I went on a work trip. I don't want to talk about the Yankees anymore. I don't want to talk about them anymore. I don't know why I keep talking about them. This is my problem too. I keep saying I don't want to do this and I keep doing it. So I got to get better too. I have a leadership problem. I got to do what I say I'm going to do. Don't talk about it, be about it. Anyway, I went on a work trip, quick, maybe 24 hours. Flew in Wednesday, flew out Thursday to Florida for a quick how you doing. I get on the flight back, one of the flights back, and I happen to be sitting next to this guy. First of all, I saw him in the terminal. A sweatsuit, unmatching sweatsuit. So he's wearing he's wearing a hoodie and old sweatpants, nasty old sweatpants, and he's wearing socks and slides, socks and sandals. Disgusting. He looked disheveled and a mess, and I don't want anything to do with those types of people. I sit next to him on the plane. He's the window seat, on the aisle seat. This is my first flight back. I had to connect, so I like to get the aisle. I like to get the aisle either way. I like window on long flights so I can hang out and fall asleep and not be bothered. But anyway, he comes in, he sits down, and two rows behind me, caddy corner, diagonal, back and to the right. Not like JFK. There's a couple with their baby. And when I sat down, I thought maybe this baby just took a dumpy and it smelled because it smelled like doo-doo. It smelled like baby style doo-doo. Like you know the smell. It's got a little bit of doo-doo in there. You can smell a little bit of diaper, maybe some baby wipe. The whole thing is mixed and mingled, and you know the smell. It's a very distinct dumpy smell. And I thought it was that. Well, about 5 minutes into the flight. Okay, so we got clueless jabroni red flag. This might be a Stugats of the week, this guy, actually. I'm thinking about it. I think I'm going to do it. This is the Stugats of the week. This guy, Stugats flag number 1, socks and sandals. Looking like a bum. I don't necessarily care how people dress, whatever's comfortable for them. But this guy, everything about him looked disheveled, and the socks and sandals is just such a lazy maneuver out in public like that. I don't understand as a man. All I think about, and this is, I don't know why, I'm a weirdo too, I get it, but all I think about is if I'm in a situation where I have to fight or run, I don't want to be in sandals ever. I don't want to be in flip-flops, clacking around with my bare feet hanging out like a disgust door, having to fight somebody. You can't get any traction on there. And if you have to run from somebody or something, you can't, like, you're setting yourself up for failure. You can't protect anybody with that. It's a bad look all the way around. So that's my problem with that whole thing. I don't care about the sweats and everything else. So that was red flag number 1. Stugats flag number 1. Number 2, 10 minutes into the flight, maybe 10 minutes. We haven't even reached altitude yet. The ladies and flight attendants did not start carting drinks out yet. Nothing. We just took off, and he already has to go to the bathroom. Okay? That's red flag number 2. The lack of planning and awareness. Like, you didn't have to go literally 10 minutes ago. You're an adult. Okay, that's something my nephew would do as a child. Hey, you have to go to the bathroom? No. 5 minutes later, hey, I have to go to the bathroom because I'm a kid and I don't realize this stuff. This is an adult who is like, hey, I actually have to go to the bathroom. I didn't have to 5 minutes ago when everybody said, make sure you go to the bathroom before, because even though I look like an adult, I'm clearly not an adult. So he gets up to go to the bathroom and he reveals Stugat's red flag number 3, because as soon as he walked away to the bathroom, the dirty diaper dumpy smell went away. Okay. And now I'm thinking maybe this guy was sneaking farts, silent farts, and that was it. He had to take a dump. He was trying to hold it and he couldn't hold it anymore. Now he's in there going to take a dump. Well, that was not the case because he was only in there for a couple of minutes. And unless it was the world record quickest dump out there, he did not take a dump in there. And I know this too because he sat back down and guess what came back with him? The dirty diaper dumpy smell. Stugat's flag number 4. This guy does not have good hygiene. He didn't clean himself. I don't know if he doesn't wash his clothes himself, whatever. Disgusting. I let it go. I don't say anything. Whatever. I don't say anything at all to this guy besides no problem when he says thanks to me. Then the cart lady starts coming around with the beverages and whatever, and he asks, hey, do you have what kind of alcohol are we working with today? And she's like, we got whiskey, we got vodka, we got rum, we got gin, whatever. Number 4, flag number 5, excuse me. Stugat's flag number 5. He goes, all right, do you guys take cash? Now, normally, this would seem like a pretty standard question, something that's not out of the ordinary. Do you take cash? But when they literally just announced, we have adult beverages for you at a cost and we don't take cash, only card. And then you ask if they take cash. You're not an adult. You're not a functioning, like mentally capable adult. Now, again, I'm not saying anything. I'm trying to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's got some sort of mental disability. Maybe he's slow. Maybe he's on the spectrum. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to because you can't check so many boxes of utter cluelessness and stupidity without having some sort of issue going on. Usually that's how it works. So she says, no, we don't take cash. I literally just told you we don't take cash. So he goes, he's like, all right, well, I guess I can't drink then. And this lady, really nice lady, also clearly stupid or naive or whatever. She's like, no, don't worry about it. I'll give you one. What do you want? Now, mind you, again, she identified what they had. And she said the names too. We got Dewar's whiskey. We got Tito's vodka or whatever it was. We got this gin. We got this rum, whatever. She named the names. She named names. He's like, all right, give me the whiskey. The free whiskey, okay? She hands it to him. And he looks at it and he's like, hey, can I trade this for vodka? I don't do Dewar's. Okay. Hey, lady, you know the free whiskey you gave me because I'm too stupid to remember to bring a card with me as an adult in the 21st century? And you're offering me free beverages? The one you gave me, I don't like it. I want another free beverage that's to my liking. So give it to me. So she was nice again. She gave it to him, and then she gave him a cup of water because he wanted some water too. And he proceeds. This has got to be, I don't know, Stugat's red flag 6, 7, 8, whatever it was. He proceeds to shoot it like it's the last drink he's ever going to have. And he did one of these things too. If you're looking at me in YouTube land, he shot it, the nip, and then he does the cartoon where he's like shaking the bottle. I know I'm looking in a suggestive pose right now. He's shaking the bottle to get every last drop of vodka out. This guy was clearly dependent on alcohol. Clearly dependent on it. So maybe I thought that was his problem. Maybe the problem is that he's an alcoholic and he can't function as a normal, thinking, critically analyzing adult human being without alcohol in his system. I don't know. But now I had to sit next to this guy who smells like booze and shit the entire rest of the flight. And look at my nose, guys. You think I can't smell it? You think it's just going to go away and dissipate? No chance. I got the Dyson vacuum of noses snapped to my freaking stupid head. I'm smelling this bastard the entire flight. And the only saving grace was that he was nice to me. He was polite to me. Oh, here's another one. I forgot about this. Every time he sat down 3 total times because he had to go to the bathroom again in the flight. It was an hour and 5-minute flight, by the way. This adult had to go to the bathroom. He had to make pee-pee twice in an hour. Okay? Maybe he had a bladder issue. Again, trying to give people the benefit of the doubt here. 3 times, every single time he sat back down, he grabbed my seatbelt. Because obviously I had to take my belt off to get up to let him into the window seat. Every single time he grabbed mine because he sat on his. He didn't do the adult thing and look and move it out of the way. Even after the first time, oh, I sat on it. Next time I'll remember. No. 3 times he sat on his. It's up his ass. The buckle is up his ass and he doesn't notice. And he just puts mine on. I was like, hey, man, you got mine. Oh, sorry about that. I had no clue. Yeah, I know you had no clue, dude. I can tell you are fresh out of clues. Fresh out of them today, buddy. I get it. But it is the holiday time frame. Maybe something happened in his life. Maybe he is an alcoholic. Maybe both. Maybe all 3. Maybe he does have a disability as well. And he's trying to function through it all. And I just gave him all the benefit of the doubt for all of that. It's the holiday season. Got to be nice and polite. You don't gotta, but you should be. He was nice to me. He was just a clueless dope and possibly an alcoholic and definitely a stinky bastard. And I wish him well. I hope everything works out for him. I hope he gets exactly what he needs in his life. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing a shower, maybe an IV drip, some sort of like brain exercises. I don't know. He needs something. I don't know exactly what it is, but I hope he gets it so that he can get better and be better for himself and those around him. But man, was that a long hour and 5-minute flight. I couldn't even fall asleep because I was getting suffocated by the smell of baby dirty diaper dumps from an adult guy. And the baby was a gem of a passenger. No crying, no dumpies, no problems. Don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, why I got stuck. You would think you sit next to the baby, you're going to deal with all these exact problems. Or even a small child who isn't potty trained yet. Using your seatbelt, getting up a bunch of times to go to the bathroom, not having a credit card, asking for alcohol, stinking like shit. That's toddler stuff. But this was a grown adult. I wish him the best. I hope he's doing okay. He needs to be doing okay very soon. So I hope he makes it. Because I cannot imagine living like that as an adult. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm so clueless that I am living like that and people have to work around me. I don't think that's the case, but I can't imagine living like that. The guy just had no clue. He was not aware of anything. He was not prepared for anything. I couldn't do it. I could not do it that way. But I wish him the best. I hope he has a good holiday, a good Christmas, wherever he was going, whoever he was going to see. Hopefully a rehab center. Anyway, let's get into the good stuff. We'll go talk about Crazy Carol and Christmas and the festivities. But first, we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Simp Swipe. Are you a beta bitch boy male who dresses like a 65-year-old retired hedge fund owner from Connecticut, never worked out a day in your life, and had the athletic ability of a quadriplegic? Are you also looking to be physically, mentally, and emotionally dominated by a woman for the rest of your life, but can't seem to find that special someone on the popular dating apps because most women are looking for a real man who could protect them and also make them feel special? Meanwhile, you can't even keep a houseplant alive because you overwater it because you're too scared the plant will leave you if you don't smother it with love and affection and water? Then Simp Swipe is the app for you. SimSwipe uses a custom algorithm to make sure you are only matching with a woman who is looking to utterly control her significant other like the sheepish little boy toy that he is. All you have to do is download the app, answer a few of the personality questions, then you're off to the races to find that Amazonian goddess looking to emasculate you in front of your friends and family. So to find your soul-crushing mate today, download the SimSwipe app on your phone now, and if you use the promo code TonyP in DC, you'll get 29 free Super Swipe roses to send to your loved one. The apps there's always going to be an app for that. Okay? If you want sex, you go to Tinder. You used to go to Craigslist. You go to Tinder. If you want attention from swipes, you go to Bumble. If you want to look at hot women that you have no chance with, you go to Hinge. If you want to go secret sausage, secret dudes, you go to Grindr. And if you want to be dominated, utterly dominated and emasculated and cucked and simped, you go to SimSwipe. It's there for everybody. They got one for everybody. So go check it out. I'm good. I like a dominating woman. I like an independent type of woman, but I want her to dominate her life. I want her to be dominant in her life, independent in her life, and not try to dominate me. I want us to be dominant power couple. I want us to dominate everybody and everything. I don't like to use the term alpha anymore. Maybe I probably used it younger when I was younger, and I just don't. Alpha male, alpha couple, or whatever. That's now become associated with like loudmouth, stupid pieces of garbage who are not mature. They can't function well in society, and they just use the excuse, "Well, I'm an alpha, so we stand out." It's like, no, you're just a jackass, and you can't admit to it. You can't take accountability, so you try to hide under the guise of "I'm an alpha." No, you're a fucking loser. Sorry, the family show, Christmas show. So I don't use the alpha anymore. I don't know why I'm using this mug. I mean, if you're in YouTube land, it's a Yankees mug. I only use it because my grandfather, JPL2, this is his mug. Rest in power. But they stink. So what was I talking about? Yeah, alphas. I want us both to be dominant, independent. We can roast each other. We can shit talk each other. And then we support each other and we connect the dots. We complete the puzzle together, and we don't try to over dominate each other in any aspect of a relationship. So I'm not going to be going to SimSwipe necessarily anytime soon, but I encourage some of you guys to, if that's what you're looking for. So anyway, the Cage fact. So Joel Kinnaman, actor, I think he's from Switzerland. I think he's originally from a foreign nation. Don't quote me though. He's got another movie getting ready to come out, or he just finished filming it, and he was doing an interview for that, and they were talking about the acting styles and this and that of the movie because I think it's supposed to be not a silent movie, but like a no dialogue movie. So you're just acting through action. So I think that's what it was going to be. He's talking about that, and they were talking about his movie Sympathy for the Devil that he did with Nic Cage that came out a few months ago. And they asked him about working with Cage, and he had nothing but good things to say. But he said the first time he met him, he went to Nic Cage's house. They were going to do just a meet and greet and maybe some line reading before the first day of rehearsal. I was coming up that week, and he knocks on the door, and Nic Cage opens the door with pink hair. I guess he dyed his hair pink for another something. I don't know. And Nic Cage said that he goes, sorry, I'm angry. My fucking wildcat ran away for the third time. Now imagine you're a guy and you knock on the door of a house, and the person that opens the door is a pink-haired Nic Cage, and he doesn't really say hi. He apologizes for his anger because his pet wildcat escaped again. And then he brought him into the house for a tour of the Nic Cage castle mansion, whatever he's got in Vegas. And he introduced him to his reptile manager, and he showed him his bird, his crow. And then he took him to this weird room where he does his office, his work stuff to prepare for roles. And he said Nic Cage was the only actor that I've ever worked with that had all his lines memorized before day one of rehearsal. I guess rehearsal is when they're holding the papers and doing the line reading, in the first day. Then Cage had his lines memorized already. Then he went on to say that it was an incredible experience getting to spend essentially months filming in a car with Nic Cage, because the movie basically takes place in the car, and Nic Cage is the bad guy in the back seat, and he's the driver, and this and that. And incredible experience for him. And like I said, I learned a ton about acting and about life. And I couldn't be more jealous of anybody who gets to work with him at all. But the movie is based around two people basically the whole time. And they're just they're on a road trip. They're on a road trip. I mean, that is right up my alley. Imagine I love a good road trip. And I love Nic Cage. So sign me up for that. I don't know how I get that part, but I regularly daydream about what I would do, how I would act, what I would say if I cross paths with the Great One. And I still to this day don't know what would happen. I always want to have something clever to say, something that not everybody else says, like, oh, I'm a big fan, I love you, I love all your work. Something that stands out and they're like, oh, this guy gets it. But I feel like I would panic. I feel like I would panic and say something stupid or fart or what I don't know what it is. But I daydream about it constantly. Maybe one day it'll happen. I don't know. Anyway, that's the Cage fact. So there you go. Moving over to the junction, we'll spin the logo up. So it's Christmas time. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about with Crazy Carol and Christmas. I remember. We were talking earlier about the gifts I was going to get my parents, and I'm trying to be quiet so they don't hear me. Well, my mother's upstairs with their neighbor. They're talking. The neighbor is almost 100% deaf, but she can read lips and sort of hear. So they're talking loudly enough that they're not going to hear me down here, which is fine. So we got these gifts. My mom always asks for some sort of new technology every year for Christmas. It's been like that for almost 20 years now. I'm trying to think back. Almost 20 years. Maybe longer. I don't know. But it's always, oh, I want a digital camera. Back in the day, I want a digital camera to take pictures of the family. Makes sense. Got it. We got her the digital camera. She uses it once. She breaks it, or she loses a vital piece of the digital camera. And then by time she tells us about it, the camera is out of, it's an outdated model. And they don't sell the parts anymore or something like that. Or it's not worth buying the parts or the thing that we need. You just buy a new camera. So we've gone through maybe 3 or 4 years of digital cameras for her. We've gotten 12 pictures out of all of them. Easy, Randy, come back here. The neighbor's now leaving, so Randy hears it, and that's what he does. He goes cuckoo. Then she wanted laptops. So we got her a couple of laptops that she either didn't like or broke or this or that. She used, a couple times and whatever. Couple laptops. I think we got her 1 year we got her a vacuum. Dyson. I got her a Dyson vacuum back when I was in college and I was poor. But she needed a new vacuum. She didn't want the Dyson because it was too expensive, and I don't know. She has it in her head when she wants something, she wanted like another Electrolux. And Electrolux back in the day was the premier vacuum. They have not made a good vacuum since that one model. We still have it, by the way. My mom still uses it in parts of the house, this Electrolux from the 50s. And it's still a good vacuum. It is a similar vacuum to the ones they use in the Sandlot when they were sucking the ball up through the vacuum pipes. They had 4 of those vacuums. It looks similar to one of those. That style of looks like a mini train car on the ground and you're rolling around and you're vacuuming. That's what it is. Electrolux. Look it up. Top tier. Still works. The suction is not good. Not compared to the Dyson. But she still uses it. So I got her the Dyson. It was like the first model Dyson when it first came out. It was a lot of money. I must have done stripping or something. Maybe I was selling Mary Kay at the time to afford this damn thing. And my mom hated it. It's too heavy. There's not a retractable cable. The cord is not retractable. You have to reel it up. And I can't carry this around up the stairs and this and that. And it stinks and I don't like it. Well, fast forward. I got this for her maybe in 2008, maybe in 2008. I got this for her. It was the first model. They already had maybe 2 or 3 models out already by that time. But I got the first one because it was cheaper than the others. It was still expensive. Fast forward to literally right now. And I'm looking at the Dyson. To this day, it still works. It's still the best vacuum we have in the house. I still use it down here in the dungeon basement. It's still in use. 20 years later, almost 20 full years later. 07, 08, I got that damn thing. Okay, so that's the only gift that actually has lasted her a long time. Then we go on to the MP3 players. She wanted an MP3 player to be able to go on her walks and listen to music because at the time she didn't have a phone to do that on, and she doesn't put music on her phone. She still doesn't to this day, but so we tried to get her a music player that played a bunch of songs for her 20-minute walks. She lost one. Then we upgraded because I didn't like that one anyway because you can't hold a lot of songs on it and I want more songs. Okay, got it. We got her an iPod Shuffle, the little how you doing that holds a good amount of songs, but it's still tiny and she can clip it. Gone. That's gone. Okay. It's like the money in that South Park episode where the kid's trying to invest the money with the bank and they take the check and then all of a sudden they're like, and it's gone. That's what it was like. We give it to her. Merry Christmas. Here you go. We'll set it up for you. My brother-in-law put music on it for you already. All you got to do is clip the son of a bitch on your waist, put the headphones in your stupid ears, and be on your way. She's like, great, thank you. It's gone. I lost it. So that's gone. We got her another one. She uses that now. She doesn't know how to turn it off. Sometimes she'll get done with her walk. She'll put it on the charger in the kitchen, and I'll be sitting there making lunch one day or walking around the kitchen, and all of a sudden I hear Pointer Sisters or something in a very faint Pointer Sisters or John Denver. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I look down and I see, I'm like, Ma, your music player is still on. And she didn't plug it into the charger. She just put it next to the charger. So it's burning battery life. And it's playing. I'm so excited. And I just can't. Doesn't know how to turn the damn thing off. She goes, well, usually when I plug it in, it turns off. Well, you didn't plug it in, A. And B, there's a power button. There's a stop and start buttons and a power button. It's got all the bells and whistles of every other piece of technology in existence today. Well, it's a stupid thing anyway, so I'm not trying to figure it out. All right. So she's still using it. She has an iPhone that can hold a lot of songs, but she doesn't want to do that because she doesn't always carry her phone with her, and she doesn't want to figure out, she doesn't want to learn how to put the songs on her phone and then figure out what button to push to play the songs and where to plug in this and that, whatever. Got it. So we are usually long story longer, we're usually very reluctant to buy my mom any technology, even though she says she wants it, because we know what ends up happening. There is a graveyard, a box graveyard in our house somewhere that has all the technology that my mom wanted for a Christmas, for a holiday, for a present, and used it one time. And we can't do anything with it. I feel bad throwing it away. Hey, get out of there, Randy. I feel bad throwing it away because I'm sure there's some sort of like actual way to throw technology away appropriately. So I don't want to just throw it in the garbage. You can't sell it because nobody's buying fat brick-sized digital cameras anymore that hold 75 pictures, which was good at the time. Incredible. When people have way better phone digital cameras on their phones right now. So nobody wants to buy an old laptop with Windows 7 on it, Windows 98 on it, Windows XP. Nobody wants to buy that. That technology is all out of date. It has there's no, you can't even pull the RAM out of it to use that because it's just technology moves fast. So it's all useless. It is a graveyard of technology. And it's almost like we were looking at it, it's like, man, how much money did we spend? And what did we get out of it? We got a 12 photos of my mom's finger over the lens. So we were reluctant. Long story longer, I got her the stupid watch. All right? I got her the stupid stinking thing because she's been bitching to me about it for the last year because she bought that Chinese knockoff watch last year, and I tried to set it up for her, and I told her, look, it's not going to work out. Okay? And she can't return it because nobody wants to buy it. The people who sold it to her sold her the thing, and then they folded up their push cart and disappeared into the sunset, and it's like they don't even exist anymore. You can't even find the company that did it. They're con artists. So we still have that upstairs in my living room, just sitting there collecting dust. So I'm gonna get her this watch, and she's gonna damn well figure out how to use it and wear it and get her steps in. And she always reminds me. She always reminded me, I can't count my steps on my phone when I'm just walking around the office or the house and walking with my grandkids and stuff. I have to set an exercise for it to work. Otherwise, it doesn't track my steps. It would be nice to have something that tracks all my steps. Like it's our fault, not just mine, but everybody. It's like our fault that she has not gone out of, on her own to do this stuff, to find a watch, to get a real watch that works, to count her steps like she wants, or to do what my grandfather JPL2 did, was buy one of those pedometers you lace up into your shoelaces and you walk around with. That'll count your steps for you. That'll get it done. So I got her the watch. She's going to use it. I'm going to make sure if she uses it for a week straight, That is more than what she historically has used it, her other stuff for, her other technology for. I've used this Dyson vacuum 100 more times than her, 1,000 more times than her in the last, 15, 18 years that we've had this damn thing. Still good. When I shave my beard, I use it. I vacuum the dungeon down here. Well, it works perfectly. The only thing that's a problem with it, it is a heavier one. It's not a problem for me. The only problem is that my parents lost all the attachments except for one. So all the good attachments that it came with are gone. So I have to make deal with what's left. We try to figure it out. We make it work. It has not lost suction capability at all. At all. Show me a vacuum that can go 20 years and not lose suction. You can't. We never had to get it repaired, nothing. That Electrolux, we've had to take to a vacuum guy. Do you know that there are vacuum guys? There were at least vacuum repair guys. We had to take it to a vacuum repair guy. I don't know how many times in my lifetime to get that thing fixed, to get the engine fixed or replaced, the motor replaced, whatever it's called. The cable, retractable cord thing had to get replaced several times. The suction stinks on it now. Now I know it's obviously older, but the amount of times, it's every 5 years at least, you have to go to get something done with this vacuum. This was back when it was fresh, when it was a newer vacuum, fresh on the market, top of the line vacuum. At least every 5 years, probably more, more commonly, you had to get something fixed on it. And it barely sucks stuff up. Barely. Dyson, no problems. No problems at all. Top tier. It hasn't lost on an iota of suction capability. So at least I'm getting my money's worth out of that, and we're gonna damn well get our money's worth out of this watch. So Merry Christmas to them. I don't know what you guys do with your families. I always do this. I always forget to ask ahead of time. Maybe I'll ask this week. Maybe I probably won't. I'll probably forget again. Find out what you guys do. See, if you get gifts for your siblings and stuff. We don't really anymore. My brother still, well, I love sticks to death, but he's always buying stuff for us, and I don't know where he's getting the money from. He's big material guy. He loves, having things around to show. I don't know if that's his way of showing status or what have you, but he likes things and he likes buying things for people. Even if they tell him explicitly, I don't want that thing, save your money, save the space for the thing because it's not going to be now. He buys the thing. So he usually buys us something small. But my sister and I we don't get gifts anymore for each other. We spend our money and effort on gifts for the kids, stuff that they can use, and that's useful. That helps my sister out more, she says, than buying her, another infinity scarf. Like she needs another one of those. So we buy stuff for kids, diapers, clothes, whatever. Now this year, my nephew was sick. I have an account. I have an investment account for him. I donate money to that every holiday, birthday, whatever. He gets a couple of shekels in there, and then I'll get him a small gift just so he has something to open on a birthday or a Christmas or whatever. And this year he got a lot of stuff before Christmas when he was sick. People were, buoying his spirits by getting his Christmas gifts early. So we got a lot of toys, a lot of Legos, a lot of how you doings. So I asked my sister, I was like, well, what the hell should I get him? She's like, oh, he needs socks because the dog keeps eating everybody's socks. And initially in my head, I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Get him socks. He needs socks. My niece needs socks because they're sockless now because their Bernese Mountain Dog, Swanson, is taking down all the socks. And then I thought about it for a second and I was like, what kind of uncle would you be to buy kids socks? When you when you look at Christmas movies, when you think about childhood memories, you don't want to be the relative that buys just socks or just underwear for the kid, for the niece or nephew. Okay, you don't want to be that uncle. So I made a compromise with my sister. I was like, I'll buy him socks. He's going to get money as an investment thing, and he's also going to get at least one silly shirt. Something because he has no more room for toys. And this he can wear around and it's silly and it's like, oh, this is something an uncle will get you, a silly shirt or a whoopee cushion or something like that. So we made the compromise and I did that. And then my niece, she's 5. She also has Down syndrome. So she's literally happy with everything and she loves Encanto. So I got her Encanto socks. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. That cartoon, Encanto. She loves that shit. So she'll be happy with that. She doesn't need other toys. She doesn't like other toys anyway. She likes Encanto and Trolls and those little microphones that the kids can play that echo. You talk to them and they echo. She loves singing through the microphone. That's it. That's all she needs. She's good to go. We got her that. So I don't know what you guys do with your siblings as adults. Do you guys still get gifts for your siblings? Does it make sense? Do you have nieces and nephews? So does it not make sense to buy siblings gifts anymore? How does it work with your family? I'm curious. I should have asked before, but maybe for the New Year's episode, instead of talking about how stupid New Year's is, we could talk about some family traditions you guys do on the Christmas timeline. Because that would be cool to learn about. We don't do a lot of gifts anymore as adults. Most of the time, my brother and sister and I will chip in to get a gift from my mom and dad. We'll all do it together. This year we didn't do that. So we're getting some smaller gifts for them individually, I guess. But usually we try to make it from all of us and we try to make it useful for both of them, something that they both could use and want. Which is another reason why I steered away from the new dryer because my dad does not know how to use a dryer. I don't think he's ever used a washer and dryer before in his life. And this might be calling him out a little bit, but that's fine. He doesn't listen to this. Tony Sacco, a top tier fan and relative, you'll listen to this. So I'm sure you'll give me shit for it, as you should, for dogging on my old man. But my old man never lived by himself. Ever. He grew up, and at 18, he went to college and he had roommates in the dorm room. And then when he moved out to an apartment, he had roommates. And then when he went to law school, he had roommates. And then after he met my mom and they got close enough, they moved in together. And then when they got married, they lived together and they still had a roommate. My uncle, my dad's college roommate, stayed with them for a little bit, third wheeled it for a while until he got married. And then we came, the three of us came. So my father has never once lived by himself. In fact, I don't know if he's ever stayed overnight by himself anywhere except for like a hotel if he was on a work trip or something. So needless to say, he does not know how to use a washer or dryer. So if we spend all that money on a new dryer, he's not getting anything out of it. He would not be able, he wouldn't even tell the benefits because he's not even there watching my mom handle the laundry. So he doesn't know how many rounds in the dryer it takes to dry this clothes. He just knows he wakes up and he's got dry clothes. So it would have no effect on him if we got that dryer. It would be helpful for my mom, but also I don't think she would be too pleased with buying an expensive new dryer just for something that, it's not costing them extra money, too much extra money to redo the dryer now, as far as, redoing the cycle. So we'll get a guy in here to help her out and repair it, hopefully. But yeah, getting a dryer is not gonna help my father out. There's not many things anymore that we can get for both of them that benefits both of them. Most of the stuff now we focus on benefiting my mother, and then we'll get my dad a book that he can read on the toilet, because he likes to read and do that stuff. So so that's probably what my brother and sister will get him: a book, some toilet reading, and some piece of technology for my mother that she won't use. But anyway, I think this year we're having Christmas Eve over here at the crazy house, and then we're doing Christmas Day at my sister's, and I don't know who's showing up there. I don't know if her in-laws are showing up there, but I know this. We're actually getting together for the holiday, not like Thanksgiving, and I am eyeing the desserts. Whatever desserts are going to be there, I'm ready. And I'm going to start hoarding them before people can get to them, before the end of the day when we start divvying out leftovers to everybody. I have to make a play immediately. Okay? I'm gonna bring a bag that's gonna have mostly gifts in it for the kids, but it's also gonna have a Tupperware in there so I can start sneaking cannolis and cheesecake slices out and putting it in there. Maybe one at a time. If I can just collect maybe 2 to 4 dessert items, I'll be good with that, because that'll last me a little while. I'll have a little bit of each night afterwards, and I'm also going to be getting leftovers at the end anyway. And you're not going to really see 3 or 4 pieces of dessert. If you buy a dozen cannolis or 20 mini cannolis, I take 2 or 3 of those, not a big deal. Okay, there's usually 2 types of cheesecake there. I could take a slice or 2 of that and be good to go. Plus, I'll get the leftovers at the end when we're divvying up leftovers. And I'll be set. So I have to do sort of like an Andy Dufresne situation and sneak the cannolis and desserts in my pockets and walk around. I'll put a hole in my pocket and I'll drop it down the bottom of my pants and into the Tupperware in the secure location. Or maybe I'll go tell them I have to go out and smoke or walk a dog. Walk my sister's dog, and I'll go and I'll put it in the Tupperware out there and be good to go. But I will not be denied holiday dessert again this year. This is the Holy Holiday Triumvirate. I cannot go 1 for 3 on desserts. Halloween is easy. It's candy. Everyone's passing out candy. Got it. Thanksgiving is usually better dessert holiday than Christmas is for our family, and we missed it. We will not be denied another holiday dessert platter spread again in the same year. Not happening. I did it when I was deployed to the trenches of warfare, and some other times where I missed holidays for military. I'm not going to be denied when we're physically here or getting our desserts. That's all I care about when it comes to holiday meals. I'll do a taste test of the regular food, and then it's to the dessert trays. That's it. That's all I care about. Being with family, sure. Watching Christmas Story on repeat on the marathon, yeah. Desserts. Well, we're not going to be denied. So I'll keep you posted on that. By the time you listen to this or tune into this, it could be over already. I could be 7 pounds heavier. Or I could be depressed and testing the strength of my shoelaces because now I'm 1 for 3 on dessert trays, dessert experiences in the Holy Holiday Triumvirate. So we'll see. You will find out in the New Year's episode, if there is a New Year's episode. What if I'm depressed and I want to do one because I'm so angry? That'll never happen. You know that. You know that. I'm always going to be here. The Libretti Podcast Diary Show indoors. I say that all the time. If nothing else happens on schedule in your life, you know you can rely on the LPDS. Even if the episode stinks, the sponsor stinks, it's a 10-minute episode, I look like dog shit, I'm sad, whatever it is, every Sunday you're getting an episode, whether you like it or not. So don't worry about that. But yes, let me know. Back to what I was thinking about. Let me know what you guys do. Do you go to family? Do you have people at your house? Do you get gifts for everybody? Some people have big families. Some people have big, rich families. So they buy each other a couple gifts each person. So there's 100+ gifts in the room for people to enjoy, whatever, open up. We can't sustain that here. We can't do that here. We don't have the money to do that here. So we don't we focus the gifts on the children who like opening gifts, and I focus on the desserts. So let me know what you guys do. Do you get gifts? Do you just stock stockings, stock stuffings? Is it gift cards? Is it material things? Is it clothes? Is it a donation on their behalf to the Human Fund? What is it that you do for your family? Do you have a big meal on Christmas, or is it smaller? Sometimes my family recently, since most of my older relatives, they've passed on, so we don't have those types of gatherings anymore where everyone's making food and bringing it. Sometimes we'll do takeout. We'll go to a diner and get food at one of the top tier diners. We'll order food, or we'll go to these really quality delis. New Jersey and New York have top tier delis. Sorry about it. Probably better than anything else. In fact, I know it's got to be better than anything else because in Texas, excuse me, they have delis named after New York style delis. Katz's Deli from New York, they have a whole small chain of Katz's down in Texas to use the name and the recognition of the New York style deli for people to go show up there. They also have another deli type of restaurant there that it's guys from New York who like worked at Katz's and worked at Carnegie Deli and brought their skill set down there so they can, spread the good word on that. So I know the deli scene is basically New York, New Jersey. You're not going to get a better deli situation because all the other delis in all the other states just try to mimic that, which is fine. I hope more states do that so we can get more New York, New Jersey style delis. Mainly New York. New York is top tier deli, but sometimes we'll get deli food. And we'll have knishes and we'll have subs and antipasto and all this other shit that we order for Christmas and have a good time and enjoy ourselves so that we don't have to cook. We can just spend a couple extra shekels and we can focus on opening presents, being around the kids. My dad getting mad that we keep watching Christmas Story even though he wants to watch John Wayne. So what do you guys do on Christmas? Christmas sometimes is a smaller food holiday than others, than Thanksgiving. So some people do it differently So I'm curious to see what you guys do. Midnight Mass, do you do that shit? We used to have to go to church Christmas morning when I was younger because I was an altar server, and for whatever reason, they always signed me up. They always schedule me for Christmas and the Christmas Mass. And I don't know if it's because my mom called them to make sure that I work Christmas so they can watch me up there wearing a weird robe and not getting touched by the priest. I did not get touched, but doing the whole doing the incense and bringing up the supplies, all the booze and wafers to the priest so he can taste test it and then feed people. I don't know. I don't know why. Not to brag, but I was a pretty damn good altar server. In fact, I held the streak of the only altar server. Maybe my sister too. I think my sister and myself were the only. No, it wasn't because I started the first year you were eligible to become an altar server. And my sister started the same year. And she was a year older. So she skipped that first year of eligibility for herself. And then when she went to college, she stopped doing it. I was the only person in the chapter, in the diocese, in that church that went from start to finish, first day of eligibility to last day of eligibility, stayed with it. Everybody else would quit or start late or just do it to put on their college applications and be done with it, never show. I was there day in and day out, for better or worse. I took the JPL2 mailman approach, and you don't take sick days. You sign up for something and you stick to your word. I signed up and said, I will do this. And no matter how much I didn't like it or how much I hated when my mom would try to guilt trip me to go and jump up there if somebody skipped their scheduled time, I still went and did it. I still did it. So they probably signed me up for Christmas Mass because they knew this is the guy. Okay? This is the Derek Jeter. This is the Lou Gehrig, the Cal Ripken, the Shohei Ohtani of altar serving. This is the guy you want when the chips are down and the game is on the line. You want Mr. Altar Boy, Mr. Tabernacle up there, slinging wafers, smoking people out with incense. That's who you wanted up there. And that's what I had to do. We had to rush through opening our gifts as kids because we had to make sure we were ready for church because it was a big day. It was a crowded mass. Christmas morning mass is a crowded mass. And my grandparents and my great-great aunt and uncle were also there. My grandmother, Big Margaret, her aunt was younger. My grandmother's mother was a little older, and her sister, my Aunt Natalie, was younger. My Aunt Natalie was slightly older than my grandmother. So while she was her aunt, they were still sort of growing up together. Sort of. My Aunt Natalie and Uncle Steve, who were my grandmother's aunt and uncle, would drive from Queens, New York to New Jersey to watch us open presents, and then we would all go to church together, and then my Aunt Natalie and Uncle Steve would get picked up by their kids who lived in New Jersey to go have Christmas with their grandkids. And they just carpooled with my grandparents, and they loved church. My Aunt Natalie she should have been a saint. She should have been sainted upon her death because she was always at church praying for people, giving out rosaries, forgiving, always thinking about the Lord and the people in that light. She would even watch church on TV before it was cool. Before Zoom and online church, she was watching church on TV. On the old dial TVs, mind you. So I had to be on my A game because everyone was there to watch. All the big wigs in the Libretti family church community, the church-going community, were going to be there, and they know church. Okay? They know the ins and outs. They know where you're supposed to be and when. They know the chants. They know the prayers. They know the songs. So I couldn't slack off. I couldn't cheat. I couldn't, pretend to do something. I had to be on, full on. And I think the church knew it too. They knew Big Margaret and Aunt Natalie were going to be at this mass, and they're like, we got to bring in the big guns. We got to bring in the Mr. Tabernacle himself. And they signed my stupid big nose ass up for like the 9 a.m. or the 10 a.m. mass every Christmas through high school until I finished, till I retired, till I hung the robe up. All eyes were on me. And most of the churchgoers, were happy. They were celebrating Christmas. But as you know, with my family, especially when it came to sports, but in this case, the same thing is they are watching me like a hawk. So if I caught a glance over at them in the stands, they were giving me the angry eye, like I'm daring you to mess up one time because we're going to debrief and you're never going to hear the end of it. So there was a lot of pressure. I wanted to be good for my grandparents and my Aunt Natalie, I needed to be good for my parents. Otherwise, the debrief, the post game was not going to be great. The post game still isn't great. It never is. It never was. Again, for better or worse. I know I make fun of my parents a lot for that stuff. It wasn't that bad, but there was always something. Oh, you didn't tie your rope tight enough around your robe. You had to move it to the left a little bit further. The priest had to ask you twice for this. The priest, by the way, never had to ask me twice for anything. In fact, sometimes he never had to ask me at all. I just knew when to bring the wafers up. I was good at my job. I was proficient. I was not just, I didn't just show up every time. I showed out. Okay? Again, for better or worse, because I didn't want to do it. All right? I didn't, especially on Christmas. I wanted to take my time opening my gifts. I want to start putting my airplane models together as soon as I got them. I wanted to start sneaking dessert cookies that my grandmother made. She used to make the little biscotti cookies, homemade, tiny ones, and she would make them in piles, like the size of this table. She would make them for the whole village, and she would bring them for Christmas. She'd put powdered sugar on them. Some of them had a little like amaretto in there, amaretto flavor in there, and that's what me and my grandfather would do. And I'm sure Nikki Sticks did too. And we would go and we would unwrap it, sneak a couple out. They're tiny. It's easy to sneak out. You slide them right down the gullet, and then you go in, you sneak a quick swig of milk, and you shake it around and soften it up, and you're good to go. You're on your way. That's what I wanted to do on Christmas. I wanted to open gifts. I wanted to sneak candy, cookies, and then I wanted to watch Christmas movies. That's it. But no, I had to go be put up there in front of hundreds of people wearing a dress and a rope, wondering why this priest won't touch me. What did I do? I show up day in and day out, working my ass off, memorizing the scripts, knowing the playbooks, knowing when to be someplace, how quickly, how long to stay there, what to bring with you. I held the cross up the aisle in the beginning and at the end. I was the front and center of it all. And I showed out every single time, and none of those bastards even were remotely interested in touching me. And I still showed up and showed out. And all those people probably all thinking to themselves, oh, he's really good. He must get touched a lot. And I didn't. I didn't get touched at all. Now, I'm happy about that, obviously. But it makes you wonder sometimes. It makes you wonder what their criteria was and what did I do wrong? Was I too ugly? Look, I'm not a good-looking fella. I got it. And I certainly wasn't good-looking back then when I was younger going through puberty. No, I got it. Maybe that was it. But just be honest. Tell me, you're a priest. So you got to be honest. Tell me the truth. You're not my type. All right. Thank you. Spared me. Now, I got spared the PTSD for sure. But I never got spared the unknowing. To this day, I never knew why. Just tell me. So it wanes on you. The unknowing puts you in that state of always thinking negatively. Like, what did I do wrong? In the absence of information, most of the time, people resort to the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is, why am I not good enough to get touched? What the hell is wrong with me? And maybe this is why I don't have a mate right now. Maybe the same problem. If they gave me the feedback when I was younger, I could have done better now for the ladies out there. So it wanes on me. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you guys had a great time with your families, or if you went on vacation, or if you're Jewish and you don't celebrate Hanukkah, I hope you had a good Hanukkah. I know a lot of my Jewish friends like to get Chinese food on Christmas. I know that's a stereotype, but they do it. They don't care about it. They tell me, I know it's a stereotype, but guess what's open on Christmas? Chinese restaurants. So I hope my friends out there who do that enjoyed your Chinese food. That's a great tradition too. I think one year we might have gotten Chinese on Christmas as with my brother-in-law who's Jewish. I think we did that one year as like, your family's coming. You guys like to do this anyway. Let's all do this. I don't remember. I think that's what we did one time. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good holiday. I hope you're getting the rest and the relaxation and the being able to hit the reset button at the end of the calendar year to start the next year strong. I'll give you my New Year's thoughts in the next New Year's episode. We'll try to keep it positive, and we'll build a good foundation for the new year, as opposed to me just bitching about how stupid New Year's is. I'm gonna bitch a little bit. In the beginning, I'll bitch to you about how stupid I think it is in the beginning, but we'll move on quickly. So before we go though, the big three. The three pillars of staying strong and being a happier, kinder, better, more genuine, healthier, nicer human being, and spreading that goodness and positivity throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Whether it's a physical, mental, or emotional exercise, do something every day to improve your health and wellness physically, mentally, or emotionally. Number two, don't be a shitty person. Be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be negative and be shitty to someone, even if they deserve it, even if you think they deserve it, understand your emotional state in that situation. Detach yourself from your emotions so you're not reacting to those emotions, and just omit yourself from the situation. And by doing that, you're not only minimizing the negativity and shit going on the land and in that situation, you're also allowing yourself the capacity, to go focus on more positive, productive things in your lives. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives, because you never know when it's going to be gone. You never know when you're going to be gone. So even if your siblings annoy you, or your kids are annoying you, or the heater in your dungeon basement takes all day to heat the room up, and you're freezing your ass off day in and day out, and you want to get angry and you want to bitch and moan about it, take the step back and think about what your life would be like without that altogether, and how much shittier your life would be. And that will put you in that state of gratitude. And when you're in a state of gratitude, you're not in that state of taking things for granted. You're not being negative about things. You're in a more positive light. Okay? You actually appreciate the things and people around you more, and that shit spreads. And you couple that with not being a shitty person, being a kind person, and you couple that with exercising every day so that you can be healthier and more fit physically, mentally, emotionally. And you will be, I promise you, you do all those three things, and you're going to be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being, and be able to spread that goodness and positivity and productivity throughout the land. And that's all I got today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the hotline, 202-670-1114. Maybe I should keep reminding people to call the hotline in the beginning so that they get the immediate reminder, because I'm sure once you hear the big three, a lot of people just turn this off and skip it because they hear the big three all the time. I don't know. Hopefully not. But if you're listening now, hotline 202-670-1114. You can leave a voicemail, play it on the air. It could be whatever you want. As long as it's not racial slurs, it could be anything else you want, and we'll talk about it. We'll have a good time and share a few laughs and enjoy ourselves. So do that, and like and subscribe and tell your friends and enemies. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I love you all. Stay strong.